And oh my goodness, what a shot by Paul George in a soul-crushing, devastating, heartbreaking defeat for the Dallas Mavericks. Man, it would suck to be a Mavs fan after that one. We'll be right back after this 15-minute commercial break.
What a pro wants, what a pro needs, whatever makes me happy sets me free.
Good. Okay, it's a little flat. You're right. We'll work on it.
No flex zone. No flex zone. They know better.
Wingstop.
Don't let me go.
Don't let me go.
That sucked. The Clippers win a huge Game 4, 116-111 to even this bloodbath of a series at 2 games apiece as we head back to LA for a pivotal Game 5. And my Lord, man, this game was just everything playoff basketball is about. The insane highs, the absurd lows, and everything in between. Man, this series has been something else so far, huh? And I've seen people on Twitter talk about it. It's so true. In the playoffs, when your team loses a game, it feels like they're never going to win again. It feels like it's over. Like you're never going to be able to bounce back from this. But when your team wins, it's like the world is your oyster. Anything can happen. I've seen Lakers fans convincing themselves that they're coming back down 3-0 after winning Game 4 against the Nuggets. Like, this is just how it goes. I mean, this game was just insane. The Clippers had a 31-point lead at one point in the second quarter, and the Mavericks storm all the way back and find themselves up 1 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game after an absurd Kyrie Irving finish, looking like they could complete what would have been the best comeback in playoff basketball history. And unfortunately, they fall short. The Clippers just hit insane shot after insane shot after insane shot, shooting 62% from 3 in this game. So what does this mean moving forward? What can we take away from this game? What can we look at moving forward? As a Mavericks fan, I have to say, it was a devastating loss. It sucks that you are 0-2 in this series when Kawhi Leonard does not play. Those are games that you should take advantage of. I think you were a 7-point favorite entering this game. But honestly, I can't help but feel like the Mavericks should be fine in this series if they just play their brand of basketball. Why do I say that? As I mentioned earlier, the Clippers 62% from 3 in this game. My good friend Nick Angstad, who hosts the Locked On Mavs podcast, I go on it after every single Mavs game. You should go check it out for better or for worse. Pointed this out that no team has lost in a playoff game when they've shot 60% or better from 3 on over 20 attempts. Those teams are 9-0, and the Mavs are only the second team out of those 9 teams that have lost to not lose by 10. Most of these teams lose by 20-plus points. So you do have that going for you. The Clippers now have 2 of the 3 best 3-point shooting games in this entire postseason. They're 2-0 in those games, 0-2 in games where they don't have insane shooting performances. So you do have that. But the thing about the playoffs is, in a 7-game series, you only need 3 or 4 insane shooting performances, and you're on to the next round. And so far, the Clippers have gotten 2 of those performances. They were 6 for 6 on tightly contested threes. I mean, what the fuck is that? And to make it worse for the Mavericks, they were horrible from 3 in this game. Kyrie Irving hit a 3 halfway through the second quarter. That was the first 3 the Mavericks made in the game. Up until that point, the Mavericks were 0 of 11 from 3, and the Clippers were 11 of 17. A 33-point swing from the 3-point line. The fact that the Mavericks found themselves with a lead with 2 minutes left is honestly insane. And the Mavericks need to figure out a way to not find themselves in these deep holes early in games. It's happened in both of their losses. In fact, it's happened in pretty much every single game in this series so far throughout the postseason. In the first quarter, the Mavericks have a minus 39.6 net rating. Minus 39.6, the worst in the entire postseason. They found themselves down 12 in the first quarter of Game 1. They led by 4 in Game 2, so you had that going for you. Down 5 in Game 3 and down 23 in Game 4. It is incredibly difficult to climb out of holes like that in the playoffs against good teams. But the rest of the game, Mavericks plus 9.6 in the second quarter, plus 9.7 in the third quarter, plus 13 in the fourth quarter. What the fuck's going on in the first quarter, man? A lot of it is, honestly, Luka Doncic is having himself the worst postseason series he's had in his entire career so far. We've seen it all season long that the first half of games is usually when Luka does things, and it just sort of sets up everything moving forward because the defense has to adjust to Luka Doncic, and then Kyrie Irving can go berserk in the second half of games. In the regular season, Luka averaged 19.5 points per game, 5.5 assists per game, 49% from the field, 40% from deep in the first half. I mean, that's a borderline all-star player right there in just the first half of games. But so far this postseason, 13.8 points per game on 37% from the field and 19% from deep in the first half of games. It's a big reason why the Mavericks are really struggling out the gate. But Kyrie Irving in the second half, and Kyrie was just unbelievable in this game. We'll talk about him more here in a bit. 14.2 points per game in the regular season. In the second half of games, that was the 7th most in the NBA. 51% from the field, 44% from deep. And in the playoffs so far, 21 points per game on 59% from the field and 52% from deep. So Kyrie is holding up his end of the bargain. He's been really, really good. we have not seen a good Luka yet. And he looks like he's injured. He looks like he's dealing with a knee thing. But the Mavericks just need him to shoot better. And he needs to shoot better. And the Mavericks as a team need to shoot better. They've only had one game in the series where they have shot above league average from 3. This was just a crazy game with a lot going on. Let's get into some highlights. I honestly think a big reason why Luka is struggling a little bit offensively, at least efficiency-wise. One, obviously the 3 ball's not falling, but the spacing's been a little bit wonky for the Mavericks. And it's a reason why the offensive rating with Maxi Kleber on the floor as the 5 for the Mavericks in this series has been so much better than when it's Gafford or Lively. And it's just, look at this. Look at this. Luka makes this shot. He had the first 4 points of the game for the Mavericks. So that's nice. I mean, that's a tough shot right there. But just look at the spacing. Luka's trying to attack right here. You have Amir Coffey ready to help if needed. And Zubac, who's just in this super deep drop. I mean, there's just nowhere for him to go and attack the rim. So he does have to settle for this, shot that he's definitely capable of hitting. But that's a difficult shot. And when your shot's not falling, the misses start to add up. And here we go with Paul George, man. I want to commend Derrick Jones Jr. I think he played really well in this game. I thought his defense was really great. That's a tough shot right there, hand in his face. Paul George is more than capable of hitting that shot. He hit way more difficult shots in this one, trust me. But that's just the beginning of the end here. And when the Mavs have size on the floor, they have to take advantage of plays like these. Zubac's playing up at the screen. Gafford gets deep on Paul George. Just have to take advantage of these bigs. I thought Gafford and Lively played really well in Game 3. I think it's the reason why the Mavs kind of cruised in that game, all things considered. And in the rest of the series, they've just really struggled to get these guys going. And this is in the past Clippers series, what we've seen. Luka attach this mismatch, hit these threes. Unfortunately, it's just not there right now. And I mean, these air balls, it's not like he's back ironing these and they're just rimming out. Like this thing's like fucking 10 feet short. And that's what makes me worried about his knee is misses like these where I'm like, oh, he's having leg problems. And I don't want to give him complete and total pass, and this just embodies things for the Mavericks. It's not like you got terrible looks. I mean, the Mavs missed some pretty wide open looks. This is a good shot for Kyrie. Not a bad contest by Amir Coffey. Good offensive rebound. And then Luka, wide open. I mean, that's a deep one, 28 feet. But if these start dropping for the Mavericks, you feel much better. Nice job by Luka here, attacking this mismatch, getting deep in the paint, forcing the defense to collapse a little bit. And PJ Washington, wide open 3, just misses it. Can't be mad at these looks. I mean, going back and rewatching this game, it's frustrating when you're watching it live because they're missing these shots. When you're rewatching, it's like, man, you feel good about these shots more often than not. Again, here's what I'm talking about right here. Dante Exum to Josh Green, wide open in the corner. That Aussie connection that we've been so used to seeing. Dante Exum is unplayable in the series, by the way. That's really sucks for the Mavericks. But Josh Green's a great corner three-point shooter. You expect him to hit that. And this is really when the onslaught begins. I mean, you see right here, there's 4 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first quarter. The Clippers have 16 points. So, you've done a pretty decent job, right? And then the onslaught starts. Step back 3 there for Harden. Generated a lot of space there. That's a pretty clean look for him. Here, a scramble for the ball off of a Harden miss. Lively. Not a great pass in the backcourt. And that leads to a Russell Westbrook stare down corner 3. I mean, that goes in. It's a shotgun blast to your chest. 17-2 run for the Clippers at this point. Pretty good job right here. All right, ball moving, ball hopping. Great work by Josh Green and Exum in the corner. Again, you like that shot. He's been knocking those down all year. He just misses it. Kyrie gets trapped on the ball screen. Lively in the short roll. Wouldn't mind seeing Lively put that on the deck and just attack a smaller Norman Powell. But the ball gets moving. Josh Green attacks. Dante Exum's wide open. Got to knock him down, man. Got to knock him down. Especially when the Clippers are going. Kyrie just a split second too late to get up on Norman Powell right here. And when he's hot, he's hot. Now we got Terrence Mann. Nice little driving kick by Paul George. Open in the corner. Mavs live with that shot, but Terrence Mann was hitting him in this one. And now it's time for Paul George just to go fucking barnacles. I mean, Paul George tip the cap, man. Some of these shots he was hitting are just incredibly tough. There's nothing you can do right there. I mean, that's an incredible shot. Good defense by Josh Green. Hey, and then how about this? I mean, look at this. That's what? 23 points in the last, 4 minutes of the quarter? I mean, holy shit. That's an incredible shot. And another great contest by PJ. There's just genuinely nothing you can do there. And I need you guys to understand, I'm not not showing the wide open Clippers threes. These are all the threes they were hitting. That's another tough one. I mean, Harden, we know Harden is capable of making that. But again, it's just, you can't play much better defense than that. And they've been giving Harden some dog shit foul calls on some of these step backs and head flailings. So you got to be a little bit careful. But Jesus. And on the opposite end, if the other team's going to be raining threes, you gotta match that. It's a math game at the end of the day. And it's just every look for the Mavericks. Look at that. In and out. Are you joking me after what I just saw on the other end? I'd like to see this. The Mavericks need to play with a little bit more pace in this series, I think. I think it'll be a little bit more beneficial to them. PJ running the floor. Great find by Luka. Go up and get it. But we know Harden. We know who Harden is, right? He's obviously not the scorer that he once was, but when he gets hot, he's still as good as they get. And, man, that's not a horrible contest. Just want to give a shout-out to the great game I thought Derek Jones Jr. had in this one. Low dribble pickup right there. It's a good aggressive attack. He had a few really nice drives and attacks on the rim in this. And here's the problem with Luka shooting like this. The Clippers, we've seen them go in a deep drop on a lot of these high ball screens. The problem is Luka's just not punishing it right now at the three. And that takes away a lot of things for you. It takes away operating in the middle of the floor with the bigs, which you've liked doing. It's taken away the lobs a little bit. And, we just need Luka's shot to get going. Like that really is maybe the biggest make or break factor in the rest of this series is Luka's three ball. And we talked about how good Luka was defensively in game 2 of this series, right? Just really clamping up. I think it was game 3, actually. What game was it? Game 2, game 3? Either way, great defense by Luka. He had 2 quick early fouls on this one, too. I thought stupid fouls. They were definitely fouls, but stupid fouls on Luka's part. And it affected his defense. I think it affected his defense more than any potential knee injury. And Harden just masterful work right there with the defender on his hip. So this is, Gafford again had a good game 3, but it's just been rough in every other game. And it's right here. It's like, go up and attack that. I don't really, picking up our dribbles so high away from the basket, so far away from the basket. That's James Harden, man. You can't attack that. And then a bad turnover. Here's a tough 3 by Luka. Good contest by Terrence Mann, who's done a great job on Luka so far in this game. Luka upset, yelling, boom, technical. Yeah. Here's another one from Harden. I mean, this is a tough shot, man. This is a tough shot. This put the Clippers up by 31 points in the second quarter. 31 points. Great defensive possession here by the Mavericks. Shot clock winding down. Look at the bodies. Look at the energy. Look at the scrambling. PJ Washington, good job getting out and contesting. Yeah, of course. Kyrie really got going in the second quarter, though, which was great to see. He hit the first Mavericks 3 of the game. Again, about halfway through the second quarter. And I think he went on like an 8-0 run almost by himself. But then Paul George, when a guy gets this hot, you can't leave him. You got to, eye on ball and man. You got to have your man in front of you. You got to know where he's at all times. Great relocation by Paul George. Knockdown and uh-oh. No, not the shrug. No. Not the arm crossed. No, I feel this fan right here. What else can you say? And Derek Lively, I thought, was really solid in this game, too, especially during the Mavs comeback. And a lot of conversation about whether him, and this is what the Mavs bigs need to do, by the way, right? You get the ball in a roll and you have James Harden under the basket. Attack that shit, man. Force contact, force a foul. That probably should have been an and one, but a nice move by Derek Lively. Lots of talk about Lively not being on the floor in the fourth quarter and the Mavs sticking to small for so long and it eventually burning them. We'll talk about it here in a bit. I mean, bro, when you're hot, you're hot. Clippers playing small here. Mavs need to take advantage. Luka. I'll give Luka the benefit of the doubt and say that was a pass, but that was definitely a pass. Well, that was definitely a pass. And Luka's just shooting so poorly right now, I'm not sure. And you got to give the Mavs a ton of credit for playing with so much energy in this game despite being down 31 early, and the crowd was really into it. I got to give some props to the American Airlines Center crowd. Look at Derek Jones Jr. Oh! It's really just a matter of Luka hitting his shots, man. These are shots that he's been knocking down all season long. It's just, can he get those? I love this shot for Luka. Defender on his hip, that step back, you're going to generate so much space with that step back when the defender's in that compromised position. Just got to knock him down. Again, another great attack by Derek Jones Jr. Really good job. Really good job attacking the rim. He had a great game in this one. He deserves a lot of credit. Got hit in the PP region by Paul George, just throwing forearms everywhere. Walking to the bench. Oh, Paul George. Jason Kidd. What? He get you in the balls? Again, quick, early offense. Luka brings the ball up. We're 4 seconds in the shot clock. High screen from Gafford immediately. He slips it. Harden's got to slide over a little bit to tag. Josh Green gets in the corner. And again, that's a shot you're okay with. Josh Green's been knocking those down all year. Probably just needs to go up with the first one. Kind of a weird catch and a weird angle there. But still, like, you're okay with that shot. More early offense. Shout out to my favorite rule in basketball. Clear and obvious foul by PJ Washington, but the ref said that this was out of bounds off PJ Washington, so the Mavericks got to challenge it and win the challenge, and it was their ball because they didn't call a foul, and they can't go back and change that. How on earth do you miss this foul? I don't know, but I'm not complaining. Refs, check under your mailbox. There's a a crisp 20 in there for you. There were stages in this game where I thought Luka, who got teed up in this game, we showed it earlier, was a little bit frustrated with officiating, where I thought he let that get to his head, maybe just a tiny bit right here. Upset with the officiating. We see him do this from time to time, so he's more interested in drawing a foul than maybe finishing that, although Luka should finish that regardless. He'll tell you that same thing. But now we got to get back. We got to get back on defense. We cannot be lagging behind the play this badly in a game where we're desperately trying to claw our way back into it. And man, this third quarter when the Mavs made their real push, their defense was incredible. I mean, it was just all over the court. I thought their defense was good in this game. I mean, they gave up a lot of points, and we'll talk about, the Harden experience here in a bit, but a lot of tough shots by the Clippers. But all in all, I like the energy. I like the intensity. And I feel like if you play defense like this, most games, you're probably going to walk out with a win. It just didn't happen in this one. Again, Derrick Jones Jr., great job. And again, look, Mavs bring the ball up. We're 18 seconds left on the shot clock. We're 6 seconds into it. Immediately, we're getting a high screen from Lively. And now Luka is operating. Kick out to the corner. Derrick Jones Jr. ready to shoot. Boom! 7-point game. Look at the crowd. Again, early offense. High screen with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Luka walks into that three. We love that shot. Misses it. A little surprised Kyrie didn't take that, but a great job by Kyrie. And look, and this is a Kyrie Irving series. He's been great so far, but his ability to pretty much always get a foot in the paint is going to collapse this Clippers defense. And with Luka struggling the way that he is, and to Luka's credit, right? He was plus 10 in this game, I believe. And the Mavericks on-off numbers with him in this series have been crazy. He still attracts so much attention that it opens things up for Kyrie Irving. But look at this right here. Kyrie has 4 guys on him when he goes to drop this pass off. Great job. Again, look at the defensive intensity right here. Look at the swarming. Look at the help. 3 guys. What a block, man. And then you have Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic on your team. You always have a chance no matter what. Derrick Jones Jr. misses. Offensive rebound. Kyrie. Great job moving without the basketball. Boom. Big 3. That made it a 3-point game. 2-point game. We were on top of the world, man. We were on top of the world. And hopefully 2 full days off will really help Luka because they need him to get into the paint more. They need him to draw the defense in more. You see the type of opportunities that leads to a Derrick Jones Jr. wide open 3 because Luka beats Harden off the dribble. Russ has to step up and help. Now you have Norman Powell preventing a lob to Maxey, and that leaves Derrick Jones Jr. wide open in the corner. Kyrie Irving, man. Woo! Woo! Great job right here by P.J. Washington. Great job in transition. Again, would like to see the Mavericks play a little bit quicker. Just brings the ball up. Nobody stops ball at all. We're going all the way. Mason Plumlee tries to draw a charge. Great Euro by PJ. And one. And a big, big moment in the game. Love to see that. And again, the small ball stuff late in the game, I think an adjustment was needed by Kidd. Just the way that the game was flowing and the things that were happening in the game. But, it's not a coincidence that the Mavericks made their run and their push offensively when they went small because of that floor spacing and because, Zubac has to help in here off the corner. And that leaves Maxi Kleber, who he's a playoff riser when it comes to shooting the 3 ball. He just is. Knocks that one down. And, of course, naturally, Luka's only 3 of the game in a game where he went 1 of 9 from 3 is a 3 here with 5 minutes left to tie it. Just naturally. It is hilarious that this is the one that he hit. But I'm so interested. If we get in Game 5, there's going to be a game in the series where Luka starts 4 of 6 from 3 and it changes everything. When's it coming? And then here came James Harden. This one is just tough. This is just a tough move. Not a terrible job by Luka. That's a nice move. Kyrie ties it on the other end. Here comes Harden again. Now, this one's been picked apart on Twitter. It's pretty obvious. It's obvious what the Mavs are doing in this one. They were trying to force Harden into that floater, and Luka's really just funneling him here into the rim protectors. It just, to say it didn't work would be putting it lightly. Here goes Harden again. This was just a tough make. Forcing him right. Not a bad job by Kleber, and really not a bad job by PJ stepping up. But James Harden, who I believe on Hoop Collective they said made 11 floaters all season and was shooting like 11% on those. Of course, made 4 in this game. Down 4, 3 minutes left. They don't give up. They don't surrender. A little bit of a wonky offensive possession here. Shot clock winding down. Where is this going? How about a Kyrie Irving bomb? Mavericks find themselves in these type of possessions far too often, I think, so far in this series, where there's 4 seconds left and there's just no real direction. Thank God they have Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic to bail them out. This was a really good job defensively here. And why am I showing so many Mavericks things, right? In a game that they lost, we should be feeling bad. I leave this game feeling fine. The Clippers, again, 62% from 3. If that happens, again, You just weren't meant to win the series. Like, that's just the reality. But all in all, I don't think what they did was terrible. I really don't. I think if they play how they played in this one, obviously it would be nice if they could hit some shots early on, but they play how they did defensively and with the intensity they had from the first quarter onwards, or the second quarter onwards, they'll win the series. Like, that's just how I feel about it. This was a really good job right here. Good help. Misses. We're battling for the rebound. We're fighting. Give me that ball! And that set up Kyrie Irving to hit this insane shot to put the Mavericks up 1. Their first lead since it was 9-8. Look at that, man. I mean, let's see, what does Cuban have to say about it?
Whoa, what the fuck?
The broadcast angle does not do it justice. Look at this, man. Wow. I mean, I would just love to have just one moment like this in my athletic life. Or I'll just tell my friends, remember that time in that pickup game when I hit that shot? But of course, I mean, this right here, wow. I mean, Mavs up 1 with 2 minutes left. Game's, of course, very far from being over, and the Clippers ended up winning this game, obviously. But all the stuff that happened out of the timeout, Clippers almost turned it over here. Look how close that is to being a turnover. And Derrick Jones Jr. plays great defense, and this is just an absurd shot. I mean, that is an incredible shot to hit in that moment. All you can do is say, tough shot, boy. Like, that's all you can do. That's the only thing you can do. I think that's like behind the backboard. I mean, it's hard to get a deeper corner 3 than that. Look at this freeze frame. It didn't hit the rim. It didn't bounce in. That's as wet as it gets. Man, what an insane shot. And then Harden just going to work on PJ Washington. Now, in my opinion, the biggest regret I would have had if I were a kid, it's not necessarily going small, although I do agree with what JJ Redick ultimately said on his podcast, which is if the game plan was to funnel James Harden into these floaters, then why not have more size on the court to better contest these floaters? I would say, why not put your best point of attack defender, Derrick Jones Jr., on James Harden to make it a little bit more difficult for him to get to these spots? If that's what you're going to give up, fine. But make it a little bit more difficult for him to get to it. They had Luka on James Harden, which I don't even love to begin with, but Luka had 5 fouls in this game, and he's on a compromised knee. Then PJ Washington, who's a great team defender, great length and size, but not the best point of attack defender. It would have made more sense, in my opinion, to have Derrick Jones Jr. out there. And if you're funneling guys to your paint protectors and your rim protectors, why not have your best rim protectors out there? And Harden again. Tough one for the Mavs, man. Tough one for the Mavs. Tip your cap to Harden, Paul George, who played great in this game with no Kawhi Leonard. We'll be back.